Hello folks, welcome to another daily Bitcoin market analysis. Unfortunately today it's really late, just because meeting, and after the meeting I had another meeting, and even after that meeting I had another meeting. It's just pain in the ass at the moment. However, we are going to talk just a little bit, not very long, because otherwise you will receive these analysis maybe tomorrow in the night or something. So I need to rush a little bit. Well, yesterday Powell said something absolutely that's not new. So indicating, well, depends on the data. Come on, shut up, Jay. Shut up. That's an old story. That's really an old story. We know that your decisions, whatever factors you need to make them, but it's absolutely not the data. Because if the data would be so important for your decisions and for those also, we remember, wasn't Wolfowitz also Fed president in the past? I don't remember. I think he was. But it doesn't matter how many presidents of the Fed or heads they had. They had enough indications that the monetary policy they were doing wasn't good for the long term. They didn't care. So, just to say, well, 25 PPS, some yelling, hey, that's cool, that sounds like pivot. Well, first of all, pivot doesn't mean to break or to pause. It means to do the opposite. So, indicating monetary policy, we are going to decline the interest rate instead to don't do anything or to rise the interest rates. So, but however, you always have those who are yelling something, like my wife sometimes, not really required to her hair every time. Sometimes she's just yelling. No, I'm making now some jokes. Okay, sweetie, it's just a joke. No. However, what I want to say is just that it doesn't matter what he does. I mean, yes, it depends on the data. Okay, it depends on the data. What that means? Well, if we are going to receive a lot of jobless people, then what? Are we going to pivot? Are we going to decline the interest rates? Because that's the only thing that generates jobs. If that's the case, we have, well, it's not new, we have a problem. Because that shouldn't be the case. That absolutely shouldn't be the case. So, what is the message? Depends on inflation? Well, yes, but the inflation, as you should know and notice already, you can handle it on national level at a certain point, but you are not going to fight it back to 2%, because it not only depends on you. So they can raise more interest rates. They can even pivot, as mentioned. The options are the same. To the right, wall. To the left, wall. You can jump from one sinking ship to the other sinking ship. The result is going to be the same. The ship is going to sink. It is what it is. Now you can say, Inspo, always so negative. Well, yes, a little bit, but not just because I'm, as a natural person, very negative. Just because I see what's happening. I really see what's happening. And the only thing, and believe it or not, but the only thing that I see that could save our ass is something that many of you don't want. CBDC. I was talking today, I wasn't talking, it was a one-way chat. I sent a message to my friend George. Because, of course, I mean, you know, currently a big discussion that happens by economists is how would look a transition from the current system we have to a CBDC system. How? I mean, all the repos, all the deposits, everything on the banks, all these transactions operating, running, all the systems, everything needs to change. Everything. Just really, because we are talking about it sounds just really simple. We are going from fiat to CBDC. It doesn't sound like a big thing. From physical money, and many of us would say, well, it's not physical anymore. Many of us don't have touched cash since a while. We are doing everything with PayPal, we are doing everything with credit card, so we are not touching the cash. But of course, we have different security levels and layers. Everything will change because CBDC itself, it's a different asset. Also the whole processes, the regulation. One thing that I guess that's going to happen is banks are not going to distribute CBDCs because it wouldn't make any sense. Central bankers will take this position. They are not using, like in the past, banks to distribute the money to retail, to the citizens. In my opinion, and that's also something that's relatively unclear, is how to distribute all this money, how to transform the whole market in a fiat system, from a fiat system directly to a CBDC. In my opinion, and that's, I guess, a very, very, very trivial thinking, but in my opinion, it's going to be like a MetaMask. We will have an ID. The ID will be linked to our name, location where we are living, what kind of job we have, if we are changing the job, because of course it's much easier to have just a number. Because if you have a number, you just need a huge database with quant computing. Absolutely. I was involved in a very huge project for a big company of the German government. I'm not going to say what kind of company. It was not a bank. That's something, you know me. I'm working for, but sometimes I'm getting other projects, and they are very cool. It was, we were talking about mass data. It was huge data running and operating over and over again at every second. And they switched to cloud computing. And they said, in the future, to make it smarter, we need artificial intelligence, we need to introduce it, we need something it needs to react even better. And they were talking about faster and next generation computers. Well, we all should know what's the next generation computers. Now, if such a huge company that's handling and managing huge amount of data, they need to operate them every single second, a central bank can do that. But of course, it's not going to work with, I don't know, Joe Biden or Donald Trump as a name, because of course you can transform this name to figures. But then to manipulate the data is another challenge. So they will use just an ID. You know, I mean, I don't know in the US, but in Europe, we received a lot of IDs. We have the tax ID. We are getting the ID number of your identification. And at the same time, Europe is working to canalize and centralize every single part of your life on a database. Means at the moment or in the past, in the recent years, it was absolutely simple to go to Spain to buy a house there, to go to Germany and to say, I'm so poor, I need money. And they said, well, yeah, okay, you are jobless, you need money, we are getting you money. They didn't know, if you are not going to declare that, they didn't even know that you have a house in Spain. Maybe you are rich in Spain. I mean, of course, then, yeah, it doesn't even matter if you are paying taxes there, because the German tax agency wouldn't notice that. They need to make a request to the Spanish tax agency, in particular for your name, if something is happening there. Otherwise, if nobody is asking, everything is fine. So that's why even in Germany, because we have a federal state, we have different estates in Germany, it was possible for refugees or those who were accepted and were just living in Germany as a normal citizen, they requested government support. So that's the money of $360 or something, $370 in different estates. That's not kidding. That's not joking. It was absolutely decentralized. Something that we in crypto would say, wow, that's bullish. Yeah, for us, it's bullish. But for the government, that's not bullish. Because they are missing a lot of money because of that. So for them, obviously, the best thing is centralized everything, canalize everything, giving central bankers just more responsibility. You have one layer that controls everything with one ID. It's absolutely simple. And of course, we will have an intermediation. I don't know who it's going to look like. I don't think it's going to be a bank, because I'm noticing that the trend is going more, it's from the banking view, it's going more to trades. To have trade apps, to make everything more like a PayPal Plus. PayPal 2.0 or 3.0 or something like. So I can imagine, and I really don't know, that's just a theory, that central bankers will be much more a control layer that controls your taxes, your tax income, or your tax outcome. So your tax payments, your income at the same time, and so on and so forth. So completely centralized, because that's what they need. That's what they want. Of course, the main argument is, but that's not for you, that's for you. I mean, that's not for me as politician. We are doing it for all citizens. Because if we are getting all these taxes, it's fair. It's fair for everyone. We can spend more money at education, something they don't do. We can spend more money in healthcare, something they are declining more and more and more. So the most important word in the whole sentences is always can. We can, but we don't do it. We can. Like Obama just said, wasn't that the big message of Obama's campaign? Yes, we can. Yes, but we didn't. yeah, we can if we want. But we are not doing it because it's not in our favor. Because it's just easier to kick asses of the masses because they are not polarized, they don't have one voice, they fight each other. As I mentioned just a few days ago about the parties, for example, that's pure polarization. You are green, oh, you are conservative. But if we check, we all have one goal. We want to have a safe future. We want to be healthy for us and for the future generations. If we talk, I was sitting sometimes in business meetings. I'm sitting with different people, different culture, but the core demand or wish is always the same. Unfortunately, we are not using a common voice together just to say, hey, we need that. No, we yell from different parts, and one then say, well, okay, if I don't get that, but at least I would like to have here a better service. And that's what politicians always do, compromises. Okay, that's my goal, but if we can do that instead, we can meet each other. And that's something that usually I would say that's good and that's part of a democratic process. But on the other side, sometimes it gives you enough space to follow your own interest and not the interest of others. The whole story I'm telling you right now, it's not only about our political system, it's not about the banking sector, it's not about only of the Fed, it's not about of CBDC, it's a general problem that we have in our minds. That have to change. That's why when people, Bitcoin marketers, are saying, yeah, but Bitcoin is the alternative. For what? For what is that the alternative? Why do I need a code to change my future? It doesn't make sense. For me, at least, it doesn't make sense. It's a useful tool. Absolutely. I would love to see Bitcoin adopted everywhere. Bitcoin Cash, whatever. The same code. A fork. I don't like, for example, the 21 million supply limitation. Because that means, some people will say, well, but who cares? You can buy Satoshis. Yeah, well, but unfortunately you bought 1,000 Bitcoins. Is that fair? Just because you were an early bird? No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Because some other people didn't birth just in 2012, for example. Some others didn't have the opportunity to buy Bitcoin because they didn't have any access to internet, for example. Or whatever. Now, I would love to see Bitcoin mass adoption. And to have it as an alternative, decentralized way to pay. I would love to see that. But then with unlimited supply, or just to raise the supply much, much, much more. Because otherwise we would have exactly the same problem we have already. Just few have the power to control the money. Bitcoin is money. It's a currency. It's even the only currency declared even by central bankers. It has the character of a currency. Everything else like Ethereum or whatever, security. Well, we remember the discussion. So it's not going to be absolutely easy, the whole thing, and also the future, also with CBDC, because it doesn't For me, it's absolutely clear that as long governments are looking and following the agenda of centralized the data of us, something that Google started, Facebook, I think even Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg was the first guy who started to collect our data and to start to make profiles, and because it is smart. Today you make more money with our data than manufacturing cars. Much more money. In the ratio, return of investment, much more money. It's absolutely simple. You just need to attract people. And sometimes much easier. You have seen what happened to TikTok. It was just a one night story. Or even with Facebook. You know? And marketing. Marketing, the science of brainwashing. That's the best of the best. And well, we can continue to talk about that every single time. We can keep talking, we can keep saying that the Fed did wrong, but it's not the Fed. And that's my message. It's not a particular actor. It's not one person. It's not Jay. It's not a Wolfowitz or whatever. The whole system is corrupt. This whole system has a problem. And that's we. We are the problem. That's unfortunately the case. We are the problem. Every single of us. And we need to make questions. We need to look for the answer. But 90% of us, they don't even make the questions. And those 10% who are doing the question, 80% of them, they stop after Google to look for the answer. It is what it is. And unfortunately. However, and that happened in the past, in the history of humanity always. Every single period that changed, revolution of industry, world wars, every time afterwards, something changed. People said, and people related to historians, they say that's modernizing. That's it's a phase of a civilization that has to happen. And maybe that's our track. And maybe in 30 years we are, we have a helmet and some cables to our brain, and we can work 24/7 while we are sleeping, while we are having sex, while we are eating, and at the same time having a call just in the brain. I think for many entrepreneurs would say, yeah, that's what I need for my staff. Of course not for me, but for the staff. So we will see. 24 minutes already. Okay. So, however, it is really crazy what's happening, and I see that so many people are just in disbelief. They are ignoring absolutely everything, and the big wave is coming. I see the big wave, and I'm extremely bullish on crypto, but unfortunately, taking into account the whole picture, crypto is not going to play a big role in all of that. It's just the little surfer that hopes to surf the wave, the big one that's coming. But I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think that's going to happen. And of course, many after so many collapses that happened last year, many are just like me demanding a regulation to feel comfortable when you are investing. You don't need to research any single person related to this crypto project because you always think, that could be scam. We need that. We need regulation, but we need a good regulation, a fair regulation, fair for crypto and fair for us. Consumer protection. That's what we need. We don't need a fight. But unfortunately, as mentioned, centralized versus decentralized. That's the big topic on the political agenda. So let us go forward and let us see what the market is doing. So we see that the weights ratio 30 days moving average is lifting up more just because, we maintained 2 days almost above of 60 and now we declined to 55. At the moment, the weights ratio 30 days moving average is touching 51, means we can go even more, indicating they are sending more bitcoins to centralized exchanges. Usually in the past, that was a nice indicator that we should go down soon. I still have first 25k. I mean, we are 3,000, almost $4,000 away, and that means we would go, we are talking about 25, that would be almost here. It's not a big thing, right? Because we have a solid support, and then we need to see what's going to happen next. If we take a look to the weights ratio 30 hours moving average, we know what they are doing. It's pure distribution. Let the price go up, I distribute. Let us go up, let us distribute. Let us go up, let us distribute. And so on and so forth. This one as well, While, of course, the stablecoin reserves on centralized exchanges now recovered from here. That's just a few days ago. It pushed up and we are coming back to what we had just in mid of April. Still, historically, a declining trend. I was taking a look and every stablecoin that, in my opinion, is very regulated and worked with regulators in the past, like BUSD, like USDC, are losing in supply and market share. Instead, Tether is taking everything. Tether. Yes, Tether. Tether is doing it. Wow, that's crazy. So, yeah. However, if we take a look here, we can also see we received Bitcoins and then we had here a bigger, outflow. The net flow flipped a little bit more to red, indicating they are taking out more Bitcoins from centralized exchanges and buying. If we take a look here, for example, the 30 hours moving average and weights ratio that pushed up, it's declining and right now recovering. However, I can imagine we will go down once again, hitting 82, for example, and then afterwards push up, because that's what we are playing since a while, just to distribute. So let us go forward. So we see, for example, here that the Bitcoin inflows declined very well. But everything declined. Even here, stablecoin inflows, outflows declined, means that the market is cooling down. And I guess all that here is, just driven by retail and maybe some hedge funds or algorithm driven by whoever, some few entities. We can also see that we had bigger outflows as well, but everything declining. Stablecoin net flow to spot is also declining, cooling down at the moment, indicating cashing out, but nothing big anymore, really nothing big. So we can go forward. So the live net flow changed a little bit. The last 30 days, we got some more bitcoins, but in the monthly 1,166 bitcoins, that's absolutely fine and nothing big at all. We are receiving more bars. I'm still expecting to see 25k, and then we need to see. But also here, it cooled down very well. Even here, the Bitcoin reserves on centralized exchanges declining, indicating they are at the moment just buying at a level of 28.8. I just can recommend really to use a Trading Light, because on Trading Light you don't only have the order books, you have, for example, also the market rates. And you can see, for example, here at 9:42, so it was just 3 minutes ago, someone just sold almost 40 Bitcoins at once. And it's absolutely very interesting, because sometimes you see that the price is going up and you think, that's tiny. They are pushing up tiny. At the same time, they are unloading 30 Bitcoins at once, 40 Bitcoins, sometimes even 80 Bitcoins at once, without that the market price is really reacting. That's just because of futures. It's just because they are using futures to push up and supporting with spot. And when they are noticing that the price is strength to the upside, they can unload. It's really smart, but of course you need very, very good algorithm for such operations as well. So I don't think it's you or it's me. Something else and much more well prepared should be part of the market drivers, it seems. However, we are also done here, so let us go forward. So we see funding rate declined while the price then finally went up. Then the price went up, the funding rate went up while the price went down. Then the funding rate declined while the price went up. Then the funding rate lifted up. Close afterwards, the price went down. And that's what's happening. So obviously we should go a little bit more down, because the funding rate is lifting up, and it's counter trading. What's happening? It seems it's counter trading related to funding rate. It's pure just to liquidate futures. It doesn't matter if long, shorts. It's just a cash cow at the moment for some actors. That's what open interest did. Leverage ratio, well, looks a little bit different. If we take a look here, that's what the leverage ratio is doing. So correlates with the open interest a little bit, but if we take a look here, we can see that they are cashing out more. So then net flow, stablecoins to derivative exchanges, more red. And even related to Bitcoins, to derivative exchanges, looks more red, indicating they are taking out more Bitcoins from derivative exchanges than sending to them. If we take a look here, for example, we see that they liquidated yesterday 666 Bitcoins and shorts and 608 Bitcoins and longs. Almost a zero-sum game. If we take a look, the funding rate declining, but the trend maintains stable and lifting up. Open interest stable, leverage ratio stable, everything stable, nothing big happened here. Now if we take, let me just refresh the site here. Yeah, we have 54 to 46 and 57 to 43 on Ethereum. 34 millions on shorts on Bitfinex. It's really strange. It's really big. Yeah, I mean, almost 2.7 billion. It's much bigger, but that's just that's actually Bitfinex. Yeah, so we see here on BitMEX, for example, more volume on shorts on Ethereum, but more on Bitcoin, but it's almost 50-50, so nothing big. Let us take a look to the Kingfisher. And no thanks. All leverage. We are unleashing the crypto kraken. What? So we have 400 millions. It seems it declined a little bit. The biggest liquidation cluster is still at 20k. On the long side, on the short side would be at 42. So both on the low leverage part. If we take a look to the high leverage, we see that we should go up to 29 before we can go down back to 28,400. If we take a look here, we see 25 millions. Usually for exchanges should be very attractable to go down to 28.3 to liquidate them. And that's it. So if we take a look, we can see the magnet at the moment at 29.5 and the other one at 28.5, indicating we should go up to 29.5 and our support is at 28.5. So we can go down a little bit. The magnet on them for the burst is 28.5 and their resistance 29.5. Something that looks very interesting. So we can go to 29.5 and that's it. Very tiny and small trade range. The GAX is at 160,000, still more space to the downside than up. If we take a look here, bull call spread, they changed something again. Jesus, these guys are always working, it seems. So premium 1 million, 1 million. Okay, that's fine. So we are going to check bull call spread, custom strategy, bull call spread, and short strangle. And we start with the bull call spread. How many? Oh Jesus, 34. Come on. Yeah, they changed a lot of things here. Okay. I can't see everything, it seems. I just need to go to the other pages. Okay, that's stupid, but it is what it is. Premium, something big here. What they are saying or showing here is 29,530, 29,530, 31, 32. Let us go to the next side. I don't like the new design, to be honest. We are here, we can see 34.35 for September, indicating they are expecting to see a price above of 35, but it's not really big. 31.30 indicating we should see until next Friday, no, May 7th is Sunday, a price above of 31k, but also here it's not big at all. And that's notional. But this one is big. Oh, okay, that's really interesting. Someone is making a really big bet here because he sold calls 46k for end of July 2023, 280k, and both 40k calls for the same expiry for 574. We have here a delta of almost 300k, indicating they are expecting to see a price above of 46k until end of July. That would be a crazy step upwards, but it wouldn't surprise me because they are really once again spreading the word of holy Bitcoin is going to save all of us. And of course, just take all your money from the banks and invest all your money to Bitcoin. And then hope, really hope that in case that everything collapses, you can go to the farmer, to the next farmer and say, hey, I have Bitcoins. I want to pay you your tomatoes with Bitcoin. And he will take a look to you and say, what? That's so, yeah, well, whatever. I mean, of course, I'm not saying everything will collapse in July and please, but the only thing I just want to say is I'm not sure if Bitcoin, I mean, if you are living in El Salvador, I'm sure, but I'm not sure if Bitcoin would be the best asset in case, so nightmare scenario, in case of if you can use that to survive. I have my doubts. Sometimes it's better to have other kind, very traditional assets, because those have a better adoption. But it's up to you. I mean, 46K until end of July, in my opinion, well, everything is possible with the current volume, and yeah, why not? Let us say yes. Custom strategy. 5 pages? Are you kidding me? Oh god, guys, I hate that. Okay, let us take a look. What's big? What's big? We have here, is that multi-leg? No, they are expecting to see a price between 29 and 29.5. Wow, great. Let us go forward. They are expecting, we have here multi-leg 29.29, so 29.33, 29.33. Many are expecting 33, and something I have said as well that would be possible. And if we take a look here now, premium, nothing big. We see here 25, they are bearish, indicating we should see a price of 25K, something I see as necessary to have a solid correction. But yeah. Beer cold spread. Let us go down to beer cold spread. No data found, but beer cold spread, it's here. Hello? Oh my god. I really don't like to record my analysis that late. So let us take a look here. Premium, 30K. They're expecting to see until end of May a price below 28K. Nothing big. Retail. A price below 30K until end of May. It's everything retail. To see a price below 30K until end of May. Everything retail. To see a price below or 35K until end of June. Wow, great. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. So let us go to the next. That's the short strangle. The short strangle. No data. Yeah, great. Levitas, I loved your application. I really loved it. So the short strangle is usually indicating they are not expecting any kind of sharp price move, and they are just expecting here to see a price between 27.30, 27.30, 26.34 until end of September. But then the short term 30K max, 27 bottom. That's what they are indicating. So also nothing special, and yeah, that's what we can see here at the moment as well. That's it. Let us go forward. So if we take a look, we can see that's what the price did. We can see what actually the tether, Bitcoin tether pair did on Binance. So it was declining all the time. It pushed up a little bit, then declined once again, and now stabilizing. The same did the aggregated Bitcoin tether pair, BUSD, exactly the same, and USD pairs now just declining. And of course, I mean, if we take a look here, exactly the same on futures. Actually, those are driving the market. And yeah, so nothing special here. BUSD on Binance, Bitfinex not doing anything. Bybit declining more, Coinbase declining more while the price is lifting up, Bitstamp doing the opposite, pushing up, Kraken pushed up, now declining, indicating they are selling more than buying. Same here happening with Gemini, that's the CBD, so just indicating right now they are selling more than buying. And that's it, that's absolutely it. So let us go here and take a look what's happening, for example, related to stable coins. If we received anything big, yeah, for example here, 1.4 billion US dollars in stable coins. However, if we keep checking them, it's really, I mean, let us take a look to Tether. Look that. Look what Tether is doing. I mean, Tether is just doing what, or the price is doing what Tether is doing. That's the USDT circulating supply. Now take a look to USDC. BUSD. I mean, and that's why the stablecoin circulating supply in general is declining. Just Tether is getting more and more and more and more. In my opinion, that's the Trojan horse. In my opinion, that's the Trojan horse. As much people they can have and will be trapped on Tether, better for them. Then they can, like in Canada, just ban Tether. What will happen next? I don't know. I really just don't know what will happen next. But however, so at the moment we are still chilling on the same tiny trade range as you see, while every time just before we are receiving some stable coins to push up, then we decline. We can see they are cashing out, then we receive again, for example here USDC, afterwards it push up. That is here USDT looking almost, we just received here those 900 millions, afterwards absolutely tiny. BUSD only outflow. That's BUSD, that's the Binance BUSD, so the trash BUSD. Absolutely nothing here happening anymore. And GUSD, well, we don't need to talk about that. Now let us take a look to the entities. Retail, of course, pushing up more, declining, but in general the trend is clear here as well. These guys right now also pushing up. Market maker declining. These guys pushed up and now declining, and these guys, well, at least since yesterday nothing happened. Wallet counts, starting with retail, pushing up more. Yeah, pushing up more, declining, pushing up more, at least since yesterday it seems nothing more. So I guess some market maker reduced the balances and shifted to lower entities. And these guys, well, that's the new cold wallet, or at least the cold wallet of Binance. So that's it from here as well. We can check here what the market makers are doing. Nothing. Also miners not doing anything more. It seems also funds stabilized, and well, still the spot volume versus derivative or future volume still on futures favor. They are rising, or at least spot declining more, and that's it. So let us go forward. So on Coinbase, absolutely nothing new. I mean, yeah, 30,500 at the moment. They are bringing some liquidity there, some bitcoins to sell. They reinforced 30k as well. The next would be here 27.5, and you can see that they are reinforcing 25k at the moment. That's it. I mean, if that's not spoofing, I would say 25k is going to be the local bottom, because they are going to buy the dip here and then afterwards push up. Bitstamp. On Bitstamp, doing exactly the same, 30,000, still 30,500, and 26 waiting, and a little bit lower until 25. Binance with Tether. You can see, I mean, I reduced a lot here the volume, but they reinforced 30,000. We have a lot of sell orders here as well. They reinforce as well 27, but everything between 25.7 and 25 is still full of liquidity. It looks like they are waiting there, but it's taking much longer because they are just distributing here. So also here, for example, between 26.3 and 25.5, a little bit lower with BUSD. On Bitfinex, we don't see any change, to be honest. The only change is they removed the wall at 30,200, now at 30,000. They reinforced a little bit at 31, and at the same time we have here 25, but also here 27. So yeah, on Bitfinex not really clear what they are going to do. So it seems a little bit they are waiting even a little bit lower at 23k. So OKEX spot, nothing. Kraken with USD, they removed some volume at 30k, but still waiting here at 26. BitMEX, nothing. Now derivatives, we start with Bybit and USD pair, nothing. Now with Tether pair on Bybit, nothing. Now Binance with Tether pair, also indicating they want to push up more, hitting 30k. At the moment maintaining, but if that's not spoofing, usually that means they are expecting here to push up more. Now BUSD, BUSD, nothing. So swing trade up to 30 and then down could be interesting. They are also waiting here 30k, 30,500 and 31 on Bitfinex perp to short. If that's the case, I would expect a big bull trap to the upside. Means sharp price move up to trigger YOLO, FOMO, and then go down once again. Kraken futures, nothing. OKEX futures, also not really. 28.5, but that's doesn't look solid. And Deribit. On Deribit they reinforced here 27.5, and we still have here 30,700. So I can imagine to go up and then down, or down and then up, or you know. So last chapter now.